Don't be angry at God. Okay? Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care, the love, the nurturing of God. Now, God's singular. We already covered that in step 2. God's not a plurality. God's not a group of people. God's not a sponsor. God's not your therapist. God's not those. He is himself. Okay? And is a person. Just, I think father is probably the best word. And I never met my father. Okay, I was abandoned by my father. I had a legal father, a stepfather. So I understand you can have a bad experience of what a human father is, but then there's a father that's not human. Okay, that's God. And he's a father who's not human. And he cares about you. Even though you've been betrayed, lied to, stolen from, you might have gotten an STD. You might have all kinds of bad experiences that have happened to you in the past. Those were not his doing. Those were the doing of those free agents. Okay? So as you go to step 3, some of you have more hurdles than others. Some of you have incredible religious training. Okay? And so God is someone you know. God is someone you maybe understand, maybe you don't know. Maybe you read about him, but you're not in a relationship. Okay? Kind of like there's people who read my books, but they don't know Doug. And then there's people who know Doug. Okay? And so in the same way, you might have an understanding, but you don't have a relationship. Maybe it's time to turn your life and will over to have that relationship, to be all in. When you turn your will and or your life, that says you're all in. It's like a marriage. Like, I'm going to marry you, God. I'm in. Okay, whatever you say, yes. What's the question? Yes is the answer. I will follow. I will do what I'm told. I'm trying to trust your voice again. Now, some of you have no religious training whatsoever, and God is a really big thing. That's why you've been working on step 2. But there's where you go from step 2 to step 3. God is real. God is a person. God has authority. That's the difference between a power greater than ourselves and God. God says yes and no. God has a voice, not a vote. God is not American. God is not wanting you to decide if you're going to agree. He knows it's in your best interest to agree. So when I turned my life and will over, I was saying, God, I am not as bright as you. God, I don't know how to do life as good as you could probably help me with. God, I'm going to do it even if I don't agree. I'm going to try. Okay? And this is God as we understood him. Okay? And I can tell your understanding of him is going to grow. But where you are right now, if you're in step 3, you probably understand enough to know that you're not alone. You understand enough to know that this God cares. I mean, just think about all the millions of women and men who are married to sex addicts. And out of those millions and millions and millions, he reached down and opened this up to you, exposed this for your sake to heal. Because this could have went on for another 10, 15, 20 years. And it hurts for this to be exposed. But to be chosen to heal, to be chosen to be a partner who can do the steps, do the workbooks, have a group, be in a Facebook group, have all that support, and heal. Whether you stay in the relationship or not stay in the relationship, you have the opportunity to heal from this trauma, understand this trauma, and begin to believe that you're lovable, to reclaim your own reality again, to believe in your own intuition, to have your strength and resources back. You can walk this out with this God. And you might be mad at him, but he didn't allow it. But what he did do is bring you to this place where you could heal, where you could be accepted by other men and women who are in the same situation, where you could be understood and validated. And it wasn't about you, your body, your sexuality, how much money you made, how clean the house was, or the kids. It has nothing to do with you. Their sex addiction was created way before you ever met them in like 99% of the cases. Okay, you're not a factor in that person being a sex addict, but you are a factor in your own healing. And step 3 says, turn your life over to God is the fastest, probably best way for this to happen, because he's healed millions like you. I know in my own practice, I've seen thousands of women and men who have been partners of sex addicts take these steps, work the workbooks, make their phone calls, do what they need to do to build some community. And like in step 2, we talk about being restored to sanity. They think better again, they're feeling better again, they make better decisions. They're hopeful about life, they're optimistic, they're not blaming themselves. Some of the dysfunction that they've had to create to live in that situation is disappearing from their lives. They're making better decisions. They're healthier physically, spiritually, and emotionally and sexually. They've grown as part of the healing process. So embrace the process. Embrace the steps. Embrace this God who cares. And allow him to walk with you.